Hey, welcome back to the channel. Uh, man, we're just gonna hop into it. It's been a beautiful, wonderful morning. I mean, I have really nothing to complain about this morning. I mean, God woke me up, my family, and and I'm gracious for that. And I feel like Ice Cube. Today was a good day so far. There's still plenty more day to go. You know, but I am excited to just talk to y'all about this uh thing in part two that because it's hard. It could be hard, you know, coming out talking about certain things or to certain people about those things. And I've learned over the years that in marriage, it's important that you communicate, 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 communicate. Always be in communication with your spouse about everything. Communicate, communicate. That seems to be one of the biggest reasons why one of the biggest reasons why marriages fail. See, communication. From what I've heard growing up, that seemed to be one of the biggest reasons why a lot of marriages fail. And I don't ever want to become a statistic, if I even said that word right. Uh, I don't ever want to be one of those, in a negative way. I want to be one of those outliers. Say, hey, if he did it, I can do it too. So we always got those folks who we look to. They are outliers, especially when they come from our background, our struggle. You can relate to that person, whichever way, whether you're gay, straight, whatever it is, you've been molested or whatever it is that you relate to that person. You look to those people for strength, and they motivate you to tell your story, and it helps. So last year, uh, man, it was a struggle talking to my wife about uh, things that really was rooted in me, like me being sad, uh, me dealing with anxiety, depression, and not talking about honestly the pornography thing as well. Uh, those are the main three things. Uh, so I sought counseling. I prayed. I prayed about it. Really prayed about it, and I sought counseling. I think that was the clear thing for me to do because of where my head was mentally, and I was like, man, I need help. It's beyond me. Maybe somebody else could shed light on me about where I'm at, or maybe point me in direction to where I need to go. So hey, that's the reason why I went to counseling. Honestly, that's the big reason. Uh, it was tough talking to my wife. It wasn't tough talking to her once I started to tell her things, but it was tough like approaching her because my wife and I come from two different backgrounds. My wife is white and I'm black. I come from very impoverished community, and my wife was, well, she was a white girl in Austin. Let's say that. So she lived a pretty decent life. Uh, I got whoopings a lot. She kind of got her way when she was younger. Uh, so it's just things like that, you know, that really, it was like, because we really didn't have nothing in common. And honestly, it's the same thing with my best friend Brett. And man, that's a whole nother story in itself, because I look at our relationship like Jonathan and David in the Bible. It just was a spiritual connection, and I still don't know how in God's green earth that we are still friends. Like, for real. The first thing he asked me to do was the whitest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. The man asked me to go bridge jumping. And to my curiosity, I said, well, why not? I've done a lot of things to this point. Why not? Why not try jumping off a bridge into the river and blah 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 and all this fun stuff. It was actually fun. I couldn't do it too many times. I was like, yeah. This is some white folks shit. This is white folks stuff. So it just, but anyway, it just, yeah. That's a side note for y'all. Just yeah. But anyway, but back to my wife, man. I just those conversations came very, very. They were very, very tough. But once, my therapist said, what she said about allowing someone, who was I to allow someone to take that choice away from someone to feel those emotions, interact in their own way, essentially, that really broke me, and it really broke me deep. It was a coming out the shell moment, like a newborn duck or a chicken hatching, and it begins to crack, and and everything's began to slowly open. I remember talking to her about, I think the first thing was actually the pornography. It was one. Yeah, I think it was actually the first thing. It was, and then I slowly began to. After she asked me, 1,000 questions, her reaction wasn't what I thought it was. Surprise. She was actually, she understood without technically really understanding. So. And I was grateful for it, man. I was grateful for it. She gave me a lot of grace during this time period that I'm talking about. So, and then I began to really talk about it, because I was, man, I don't know about you, but for me, when I was growing up, men are taught to be strong, carry the weight of the world, be tough and not share our feelings. So, but I always, with my mom, my relationship with my mom, I was able to do it. I think that's what, honestly, yeah, with my mom, and I was able to do it often. So when she passed away, I put up barriers, put up all these barriers to guard myself from talking about certain things. And a lot of people say, man, they'll look at this video, they'll be like, man, you talked about drugs, sex, and all this other stuff, and you say you was afraid to talk about some other stuff? I'm like, yeah, man, it was tough. Some things are very sensitive, to a personally. And it was to me. Talking about my anxiety and my depression to my wife, who I thought couldn't relate to me, who wouldn't understand me, was tough. It was very tough. Very, very tough for me. But we had those conversations, and man, she was amazing, because she would start to notice things. Then she'd be like, check up on me. She'd be like, you all right, Hermes? Or you okay? Where your head at? You okay? And not necessarily in a bad way. It was always in a good way, in a caring, nurturing way. kind of like my mom used to do. Ironically, right? Yeah, kind of like my mom used to. So, um, and then the whole adjusting from, being, making a lot of money to actually, making little money, but still being able to provide for the family in a different capacity is what God was teaching me how to do. It's teaching me still of how to do it. I talked about the refining process, man. I always tell people about, the last 2 years has been me, God's refining me, constantly refining me. And, I know I'll never be perfect. But doggone it, man, if I don't strive to be. I'm just trying to be able to, not put up barriers anymore. I want to be honest. I want to be open about those things that really, really bothered me. And I mean, it's a part of life. And I'm forever grateful. Forever grateful about that. But going back to the main subject, really, going back to the whole feeling less than, man. Because when you stop bringing in a certain level of income, you feel less than, especially as a man. And for me, I felt less than. I felt bothersome. This was a very different position to be in. And once again, here I am, trying to figure this thing out, asking God, what's going on? And speaking of which, there go my wife calling me right now. But it's all good. I'm going to pause this real quick. All right, back to the video. Man, yeah, just feeling less than, man. That was a tough. That's very tough. Very tough. Very tough. And not a lot of people will admit it, which is fine. I mean, that's you. That's on you. If you afraid to admit those things, I feel free by sharing those emotions and relaying those feelings to people that are significant in my life and that are down with me for the long haul. I'm forever grateful because those people, they constantly pour into me on a regular basis, and like I said, I always say my wife has been amazing throughout this whole process of me just really coming out of my shell and addressing those issues this past year. And she was the one who said, hey, you know what? Since baby girls are getting bigger, I know you still watch her all day, every day, while I'm at work and this stuff. Hey, you should still do your YouTube. I know you love sports. I know you love talking about sports. You should do it. And she encouraged me to do it. So here I am, about to get ready to start talking about sports. And I'll tell you the truth, man. God's grace and mercy. If I could tell you the stuff that I've done, You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. You would look at me like a lot of people do, like, no way you ever done that. No, I would tell you, yes. But God's grace and mercy covered me throughout my recklessness. When I tried to hide and conceal things from people and put on a front and, and carry unnecessary baggage on me that I have to carry, So, man, this is it for this video. Straight up, I just wanted to let y'all know that, everything's going great now. And I'm happy to be able to just tell you a little bit about me and what had happened this past year and why I stopped so early, and I couldn't continue because these were the things that I had to address in order for me to move in the direction that God wanted me to move in. And I owe all glory, all thanks to Him. He moved people's hearts in order to accept me and my truth without judging me. And I thank Him for it. I'm blessed and highly favored. Even when I was reckless. So, man, I just want to say thank y'all for looking at the video, listening. However long you decide to listen or look at it, thank you. I look forward to putting out different contents on sport. I said on sport, I'm talking country Southern slang, and I can't even put words together or sentences together. Oh, Lord. If my English teacher could see me now, man. But anywho, man, March 1st, day one of the Scouting Combine. I'm pretty sure everybody's getting their measurements in. They're fleeing to Indianapolis. I'm pretty sure that's where they're holding it at this year. We got NCAA tournaments, conference tournaments actually kicking off or ending now, and then we'll have the big tournament here soon. I'm excited about the month of March. It's so much sports stuff going on. The NHL is looking very promising. The playoffs looking very interesting. We got this weekend, we got Masvidal versus Covington, which is looking like it's going to be a brawl. I'm excited to look at that this weekend too. Ooh, man, where all this gas come from? Anyway, Lord. But yeah, also NBA season is about to come to an end. I am highly, highly happy that it's about to come to an end. Then we get some playoff NBA. My Lakers probably be one and done this year. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if they lost in the play-in tournament. Being realistic with you. Ja Morant, I was right about him. I said I would have chose his behind over doggone Zion. People looked at me crazy. Oh, Zion this, Zion that. And I was like, man, please, Zion is on his way to being a bust. And I'm going to say it now so you can have me on camera saying it. Because Zion don't get his weight together. Man, listen, I understand he got a foot issue He probably don't want to be in New Orleans, and I don't blame him. He don't want to be in New Orleans. Who wants to be in New Orleans? Let's be realistic. Who wants to be in New Orleans? Drew Brees is gone out of New Orleans. And that's all New Orleans actually really had was Drew Brees in New Orleans. He gone. Zion needs to get the heck out of Dodge. And just, honestly, they just need to move the franchise, man. Move the Pelicans out of New Orleans, man. Move them back. Move them to Seattle. Seattle was a good place for basketball. But get them out of New Orleans, man. Get them out of New Orleans. But that's a whole nother spiel for another day. But, yeah, playoff basketball. I can't wait. By the way, I'm going to say it now. Callie Cook. I think, isn't it? Callie Cook. Caitlin. I think it's Caitlin. I'm going to post the name. Whatever her name. Listen, she played for Iowa. Bad sister. And I think they man, listen. Woo-wee. If they could gel throughout the playoffs, the NCAA tournament, man, that sister is probably going to set the world on fire, man. Future first overall, number one overall pick in WNBA coming soon. That sister is very, very, very extremely talented. Even though the doggone squad in freaking South Carolina, man, that squad in South Carolina is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Good luck for anybody who played them. Good luck. But anything can happen. It's the NCAA tournament, man. And my Dookie Blue Devils, Forrest, man, we on them, man. Come on, let's win it for Coach K last season. Let's have John Shire to start his coaching career coming off a NCAA tournament championship as the assistant head coach to the legendary Coach K. Man, so. And then free agency should be starting sometime in the next couple of weeks, NFL wise. So that's going to be interesting too. Hopefully, my Steelers can address this offensive line issue. Maybe the secondary, maybe get J.C. Jackson or, Stephon Gilmore, hint, hint, wink, wink, my Steelers, hey. No, I love Joe Hayden, but Joe Hayden has slowed down and has been very injury prone as of lately. Mika needs help. He needs help back there. But all right, y'all have a great day. I love y'all. I pray for y'all that everything goes good and great in you and your life. Y'all be blessed. Peace.